This week on Jordan Jaunts, it's officially 1 year since we retired early. It's been the best decision of our lives, giving us freedom, travel and time we never had before.
But looking back, we didn't get everything right. Today, we're sharing the 4 biggest mistakes that we made in our first year of retirement. So stay with us to hear how you can avoid making the same ones. Did you hear about the couple who were early retired and regretted it?
No, never.
Me neither.
Welcome to Jordan Jaunts. I'm James, and this is Nicola.
Today we're doing something a wee bit different. We're just going for a walk in our hometown and we're going to talk about our 4 mistakes that no one warned us about. Today's the 4th of January and exactly 1 year ago today, James did his last day of work and we officially early retired.
But it's funny, when we started the year off, we finished work. A couple of days later we travelled to the snow and we find ourselves in the snow in our own country today.
I think we need to be careful we don't slip.
Yeah, absolutely. So this might be very funny for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless one of us needs a hip replaced.
This is very true.
Then that's not funny.
We worked so hard over the last 10 years to build the finance behind early retirement and to be able to give us that freedom. And I think we expected to just retire and then the dream would evolve and every day would be amazing. But it turns out early retirement's like everything else in life, you need to work at it. So intentional living is something that we have been working on, because we were finding that particularly when we were home from travels, one day blurred into another, which is never a good thing. And actually, when we think about it, what we did is we brought the same people to early retirement that were at the end of their working life, which again isn't a great thing, because it wasn't just going to change automatically. We had to be a lot more purposeful. We had to think, well, what is it we want to do? What is it we're going to plan? And what's the next couple of days, weeks looking like for us? Because it is a dream, it is freedom. But freedom should be fantastic, should be brilliant every day. And there shouldn't be days that are just okay.
The days that became just okay, they felt extra disappointing, because in your head you've got this magical future planned and then you go, how was today? It was okay. You go, have we made a mistake? And of course you quickly get to know we haven't made a mistake. But what we have to do is make a change.
And the change is completely down to us. We have got the ability to make the change. We know how to make the changes and we know what stuff really works for us. It really, I think it came to us more last summer. We've been travelling constantly and we got to last summer and we thought we're going to spend more time living at home, seeing the family, doing all the stuff that we loved Forest for in the Moray Coast. And we didn't do that much of it. Yeah, we did cycling, we went in the sea, we went nice walks, but no more than we did when we were working. And then we've got to think, well, what are we doing the rest of the time then? Probably sitting watching a bit of TV, drink too many coffees, and talking about what we were doing rather than actually doing it, which is something I've been famous for. So I think we had to change, and since probably it's midsummer, we started to build better plans, be a lot more purposeful how we lived our life. I watch discussions around early retirement and I hear about the cliff edge, about working really hard and then coming to the day expecting it to be something that it turns out it's not, and then people fall off that cliff edge. That's not happened to us at all. There's been no cliff edge. I think I was thinking about retirement 5 years ago and counting down the days. And I know you were the same, Nicola. So that's definitely not a thing for us. But we've always been growers, and not to do that in retirement would be really silly. This is the best years of life, not the worst. And we have gave ourselves that permission, that freedom to evolve into brilliant individuals and real growers.
Early retirement is freedom, but it's not freedom to just meander through it and just do whatever you feel like. It's that freedom to really intentionally choose activities, intentionally choose your days to do things that really light you up.
That's a different level. And we talked about it in one of our earlier videos about next level, James and Nicola. And this is next level us. But it's only going to continue to the next level if you review it, communicate, and move it forward. On that note, let's go. My backside is so cold here. Sitting
It's
on this
really
bench.
cold.
No wonder, Nicola.
Ah. Were you actually sitting on the ice?
I was actually sitting in that ice. I was wondering why it was so cold.
I'd be more curious as to how did you not feel that?
It's because I'm sure.
James mentioned something there that kind of brings us on quite nicely to the next learning, I would say, rather than regret or mistake. He mentioned communication, and of course that's so important in relationships. And I think what we have learned is that while we have been together for 30 years, being together 24/7 is a different beast. Now, when we were together for all those years, we both had jobs, we had our children who were growing up, we had the busyness of that stage and all the different stages in life that are just part of it. And to go from all of that to 24/7, well, it can be
Challenging. It can definitely be challenging. Is this news to you, Nicola?
well, I wasn't going to say challenging.
Well, challenging for you.
Yeah, okay, fair enough, yeah, challenging for me. It certainly can be an adjustment. Because James and I, and we've got loads of similarities, but there are things that have really been highlighted to me in this first year, and the way that we process things differently. I absolutely internally process things, and then I come to a decision and I'll say, I was thinking of doing this, and James will say, well, that's the first time I've heard of it, or you never told me, and that causes, you know, moments of friction, shall we say. But then James, on the other hand, he externally thinks, he absolutely thinks out loud. And because I'm quieter, I find that challenging.
Yes, I do. I like to verbalise and sort of share my thoughts. I'm never very good at secrets.
And that's one specific example. And obviously there are more than that. But I think what we've had to do is just recognise that we do think differently and do things differently, and make sure we're giving ourselves permission and each other some space to be who they are, and make sure that we really celebrate each other's differences. It's so important that this new part of life is a season of growth and not a season of getting shrinkage and getting smaller. Hello.
And to live it for ourselves.
We've got a wee friend visiting.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
So, in a nutshell, early retirement, it doesn't change your relationship, and certainly not a 30-year relationship overnight. It does highlight things, but it allows you to appreciate it as well.
Another realisation for us has been that retirement isn't this big long holiday. And I think in part, certainly in our first year, we were living some of it like a holiday. Maybe overeating, drinking, laying about, as you would in a 2-week holiday to get a bit of downtime after a busy schedule. And after a couple of days, each time we went for that type of holiday, we didn't feel very fulfilled. We felt quite drained, lethargic, and think, is this it? And then we thought about, well, it's actually not holidays we should go on, it's trips. It's actually trips that have got a bit of activity, learning, seeing a different country, understanding culture, meeting brilliant people. And that when even the two words of holiday versus a trip changed everything for us. And not to the extreme of planning every hour, but certainly planning our days and what they would look like and what we would see. I think there's so many people, they go on holiday, they go to countries and they say they went to Spain, Portugal, Greece, but did they really? Or did they just sit by a pool, get a few drinks in a few restaurants and bars and do a couple of excursions? That's not really seen somewhere. Some of the best trips for us last year was certainly the ones we did move ourselves. We started in Bansko skiing. They really set the tone. Activity, moving ourselves, feeling joyful for what we're doing on a daily basis, and seeing a bit of Bulgaria at the same time. Also, we did a big trip to Spain, didn't we? The Senda Littoral, we walked from Nerja to Punta Chera over 7 days, 200 kilometres. Again, we felt alive. But other times, as I said, we did the usual holiday and we just didn't feel it. And we couldn't go from one of those holidays into the next. It just wouldn't be us, and it wouldn't be why we gave ourselves this real freedom. And how could we forget, Nicola? We did it before we went to States. We did a almost 6-week trip of Italy by car. And Nicola hates me saying this, but do you know, see, one day we went under 200 tunnels. And I'll do a video on that if anyone would like that. Stick that in the comments. But what an amazing... Oh, absolutely would. I'm sure there's plenty.
No one wants a video on tunnels.
But we'd never been able to do that working. I mean, who gets 6 weeks just to go and tour out in a car and take a dog, Maisie? Definitely responsibility ourselves to make these things happen rather than just come across them. I think this bit is definitely worth maybe concentrating on walking and we'll catch up with you in a few minutes.
Oh my goodness, it's so fluffy. Oh my goodness, it is so easy. Beautiful, it really is a winter wonderland, but also a winter slippy land. Well, we're still alive after those stairs because, you know, they were steep and slidey. Anyway, we're down, we've made it, and that's all in thanks to our good health.
That is very true.
Because, and which brings me on perfectly to the next mistake. We really thought that when we started this early retirement, we really thought that our health would kind of take care of itself.
Yeah.
We started off strong. We started the year by going skiing, so that really kind of gave us some health momentum, some fitness momentum, and then we came back and we did a bus tour, and all of a sudden we got a bit slow again. And what we quickly realised is that
a bus tour's no for us.
One, a bus tour is not for us, and we realised that we have to be a lot more intentional, because prior to that we had fallen into, you know, when we were working, we'd fallen into poor health habits. You know, eating when you're bored, eating because it's time to eat, and not really paying attention to what we needed or wanted. And over the past few years, we had certainly gained weight and become less healthy and fit.
Totally. And that's one thing you can't buy in life, is your health.
Absolutely.
And it's also free to fix.
I am sorry, I've got nothing for you. So we had a great start with the skiing, and then it got a bit lazy. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier. We brought our same old selves to a new environment, and we really decided we had to make some changes. So this year we have made some changes to really look after our health. I have stopped drinking completely for 7 months now. I'm doing 1 year no beer. With the time off, I was getting into the habit of drinking more frequently and bigger volumes, and I just realised this isn't what I envisaged when I envisaged early retirement. I envisaged a life of vitality, a life of enjoyment, and that really wasn't contributing. So I stopped drinking, and that really has impacted you, James.
Massively. I think I drink about 20% what I used to drink.
Absolutely, because you don't have a drinking buddy.
This is true.
Yeah.
No drinking buddy. Or no bad influence. Or maybe I was a bad influence. Just one more.
In addition, we're at our local gym. We use that regularly, and we're really working and building up our strength. Both of us are.
It's a commitment to our health, commitment to ourselves. Oops, nearly went there on that ice. Hold on to me, hold on to me. But that's just because I've got a stronger core now, Nick, that's what it is.
See, look what that gym work has done.
Exactly.
But of course, going forward in any retirement, early or otherwise, you need if you don't have your fitness, you've really got nothing. So we're really concentrating on that and continuing to concentrate on that. And actually, this year we both lost around 2 stones, which I think is pretty good. And if you look back in some of our earlier videos, you can see it. It's really obvious actually. And in a way, these 4 big learnings, when I kind of was looking at it, in a way these surprise me, because everyone always asks about money and finances when people talk, how do you do it? And I had thought that one of the learnings I'd be talking about today were finances, but actually what we've come to realise is if the finances are sorted, once they're sorted, it's actually not the most important thing. We've outlined 4, you know, mistakes and learnings that we've made. We've spoken about how what steps we've taken to address them. And I hope you found that useful and interesting. If it's something you're thinking about, if you're thinking about retiring anytime soon, these are things that's worth considering before you get there, before you waste the first 6 months of it.
Most of our videos on the channel this year have been about travel, and we've had some sort of small nuggets and conversation around early retirement, but it's not really been the main point of the YouTube channel. The main part's been travel. If it's something you would like to see more from us, or you would like to hear how we got ourselves into financial freedom, stick in the comments and we can put some more videos together.
So I hope you've enjoyed that, and we'll see you in our next video.
From New Orleans, see you soon. A wee bit warmer than here, I would have to say.
Definitely warmer than here. And a happy new year. See you soon.